Just a couple bad weather fans representing New York, talking all things sports. Man, what could go wrong? We got Alex, who's a fan of the Knicks, and Mike of the Nets. The yin-yang of the tri-state, place your bets on the Yankees, Giants, Mets, or Jets. Yeah, you should listen if they're sparking your interest. If you made a vow to your team, don't break it. Bad weather fans is the relation.
That's right, this is Bad Weather Fans, episode number 142. Mike Biseglia, Alex Menezowitz, and a wild couple weeks into the NBA season. Knicks losers tonight. They fall to the Cleveland Cavaliers 121-108, held a lead going into the fourth quarter, and just got thumped by the Cavs. The Knicks at 3-3. The Brooklyn Nets, a disaster. They're 1-5. They have played terribly at home, on the road, no defense, and has been an utter shit show for the Brooklyn Nets, and that goes on and off the court. Of course, Kyrie Irving, a couple of days ago, posting on Instagram a documentary, and then from there, it spiraled into many different avenues, press conferences, Kanye West tweeting a photo of Kyrie, and here we are. So NBA season upon us, Alex, episode 142. And how are you?
I'm good. I'd love to say I'm good, but the not sports aside, I mean, Jets lost, Knicks lost, I mean, Giants lost too. Everybody lost today. But it's not about that. I'm really been upset all day about this Kyrie stuff. And it's not just Kyrie himself, because I know he's out there. We said this on this podcast. What is he going to do this year that's going to throw you off? Because you were going to the season, you're like, well, there's nothing bothering him. I'm like, something's going to come up, and you knew it. You knew it too. Something's going to come up, and here we are. And I don't even want to pat myself on the back for that, because it's just, this is so crazy, and I feel bad for Nets fans like you, Jewish Nets fans, or just fans in general that don't hate to have somebody like that on your roster that you have to root for, or your favorite team over all sports, or just your favorite basketball team, that's somebody that you have to root for, quote unquote, have to. You don't have to do anything, but as a sports fan, you can't explain it to somebody who's not a sports fan. This is like part of your DNA. This is part of your team, especially the Nets for you, Mike, where that's your number one team, where this is like your family, your bonds with your dad, going to games, going to New Jersey Nets games and seeing Richard Jefferson, these guys, and growing up with Kenny Anderson, even before that, like, this is your thing, and you're not going to give up the Nets because Kyrie Irving is an anti-Semite. You know what I mean? So it's just, it's really tough. And I feel bad for you in those situations, and anybody making jokes about dysfunction or anything like that right now about the Nets are disgusting. Like, this is not the time to make jokes about that stuff. This is some serious stuff. And and it's also people excusing Kyrie and saying, why aren't you mad at Amazon? Yeah, Amazon should take it down too. But guess what? Amazon's not doing a press conference and throwing it into my face. Like, they need to take it down too. They might not even known it was up there. They have so many books and things for sale, so now they should take it down. They should, and 100% should. But guess what? That doesn't absolve what Kyrie Irving has been doing and doubling down. And he just recently deleted the tweet, but it was definitely up there for about 48 hours, or the Instagram post, whatever it was. And even Richard Jefferson called him out on the Nets games, and he's been on the show. He's a great guy. And he literally called Kyrie out, and he's Mr. Nets and will never call out. Even on the show, when he was on our episode a couple episodes ago, he danced around the question about Kyrie, and he started talking about Durant. And it's just, or it was the other way, whatever it was. He never really fully talked about them in a way that would give you anything to talk about, so that's fine. I'm so drained. And then people like Dennis Scott on NBA TV, I posted the clip at Nick Central saying things like, all of these other distractions wouldn't be such a big deal if the Nets were winning. If the Nets were undefeated and won the last 7 championships, this would still be a big deal. This is something terrible. He shared a documentary book about somebody quoting Adolf Hitler. Like, what are we doing here? Yeah. Saying Jews worship the devil and like things like that, like all this conspiracy anti-Jew stuff. And it's just like, I'm just hurt. I'm hurt at the amount of people that are agreeing with this, with people that I thought had an ounce of brain cells in their head that they would know. And they've been around enough people in their lives to have seen enough Jewish people to know that some of this stuff is not true, or to see that this hurts us as Jewish people. And I'm sorry I'm talking for a really long time, but I just had to get all that out. And it's just been upsetting. It's been really, really upsetting. It's been dragging me down for the last 2 days. And it was even worse last night with the press conference with Nick Friedel. I know you wanted to get into that, where Kyrie doesn't understand the point of posting something on his Instagram or Twitter is promoting it. If I ask somebody to tweet out my retweet my podcast link, it's promoting. It's all promoting. You're putting yourself out there. You're promoting yourself. That's the point of social media. If you weren't promoting yourself, you wouldn't be on social media. That's just what it is. Promoting is not just being in a commercial. Promoting is posting links. That's promoting. It's all connected. And just because Kyrie can't handle having a conversation, he threw a tantrum, and then he was like, "Oh, look, now it's gonna be all over Instagram." Oh, and Nick Friedell's like, "I'm just trying to ask you a question here." And I know he could be a pain in the ass to Nets fans, but he's the only one with the balls to ask Kyrie the question, because he doesn't care about keeping relationships with the Nets, because he's in and out. Like we talk about that on the show all the time. He's not stuck with the Nets franchise. He works for ESPN. So I'm sorry I've been going a really long time, Mike. I know you want to get on this too.
You don't have to apologize.
That's my 2 cents.
You don't have to apologize. I appreciate what you said, and I'm thankful for that, and for sharing what you had to say. So you don't have to apologize for that. And yeah, it's difficult as a Net fan, as a Jewish Net fan. It's tricky. It definitely is tricky, and it's not simple. Of full support of Kyrie Irving, or no support of Kyrie Irving and full support of the Nets. And I love the Nets. I always will love the Nets. There will be nothing that stops me from loving the Nets. So yeah, it was, it's kind of strange, watching the games and then having such strong emotions for what, you saw occur and heard and, read earlier in the day. And it definitely sucks. And it makes you feel kind of icky inside. I was questioning, like, am I a good person? I was like, because I was rooting for the Nets and I wanted them to win, and Kyrie Irving's playing, and I felt kind of icky inside. But it's just, it's uncharted territory, I think, for a lot of Net fans, who have this, who feel this way and see this stuff. And it's scary. Definitely I hate misinformation being spread in all walks of life. I don't care who it's about. I don't care if it's about all creeds, all races, all religions. It's disappointing. So it's scary, I think, when misinformation is being spread and that people then buy it. And that's where Kyrie Irving says, I'm not influential, but you are. You have 17 million followers on Instagram, got 4.5 million followers on Twitter. People are going to hear some stuff and hear misinformation and believe it. And that, to me, is more scary than anything else. Because, like, for me, when I first saw what Kyrie had posted, I kind of like shrugged it off in a sense, because I knew it was stupid and I knew it was misinformation, but I was like, whatever, people know this is ridiculous. And then I start to see that there's a belief that some of this information is history and this and that, and I'm going, man, I was wrong. That was bad judgment on my end, seeing how much impact that has. So there just needs to be it's disappointing. It's really sad. It makes me feel icky all around from everything that happened. And then the Nets, they go out and they're terrible. So it's like, you feel bad on two fronts, because you put so much investment into them. I mean, I do a fucking podcast where I talk about them, right? That's a big investment. So then they play terrible. They have everything going on off the court, and you're like, man, they are just not fun. And I'm now at the point with the Nets where I am more energized and excited the nights they don't play, because I know I don't have to deal with them. And that's never where I want my favorite sports team to be at.
Right. And it's almost like you probably, even if we gave you some truth serum, gun to your head, any kind of expression you want to think of, if you could do it all over again, you would have traded Kyrie and Durant in the offseason and just not had this nonsense around.
This time around, I would have definitely dealt, I think, getting Jaylen Brown for KD. Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And getting Kyrie out of here.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. Yeah. And then, I mean, I would never say, yes, from this offseason, yes, but I would not say from when they signed him 3 years ago.
No.
I
I'm
would
saying
never have
just
said
like
that.
a
Right.
few months ago. If you
Yeah,
can go back
because
this
I
summer.
mean, we're reliving last year, and it's just
Right.
it's miserable. And we'll,
Yeah.
we'll we'll talk about Steve Nash and what the Nets need to do with him and the disastrous start. I do want to talk about some of that as well. But yeah, I would
Yeah.
just to answer your question, yes. From this past
Yeah.
offseason, especially the Jaylen Brown deal, definitely.
Yeah, and I just don't understand how there was a tweet that said it, gentleman. I forgot his name. Pulling it up right now. I am sorry, I can't find it. So Rodimus at Rodimus Prime. I think he's a comedian. I'm not sure. He's Rod on Twitter. He's verified. He's a black male. And he said NBA players were all zero tolerance, quote unquote, when it came to Sarver, and now they are dead quiet for Kyrie. And we were discussing this before the show, Mike, and this is probably why the NBA is not doing anything about Kyrie, because there are probably a lot of NBA players that agree with him or are not willing to throw him under the bus. So like as from like a union standpoint, so there's probably something there where they don't consider trashing Jewish people as a big deal. And that's a bigger problem. And that if you don't want to peel back that layer of the onion, and then the NBA is just hoping that this just goes away. And Joe Tsai can put out these tweets all he wants. If he really, really didn't want Kyrie on the team, he wouldn't be starting the next fucking game. Excuse my language. He wouldn't be. He'd be off the team. If I was the owner of this franchise, he'd be gone. Send him home. Keyshawn him. Stephon Marbury him. Gone. Never would wear my uniform again if I really cared, but he doesn't. He just put it out for PR purposes and pissed off Nets fans and Nets players in the process. Made it worse.
Yeah, I'm curious if he did actually talk to him.
Right, we don't know that. That's true. That's a good point.
I am curious. I'm not saying
we're assuming
is incorrect, but I would be interested if like they did get together and they did have a conversation. I don't know, but they're from a business. It's I don't know if Kyrie lasts the season on the Nets. I don't. I think at some point he won't be here anymore.
That's fair.
I don't know how, but I just think I think the writing's on the wall with the way the organization feels about him, the way he feels about the organization. I just think at some point, and there's so much to get to with like KD not caring, and he doesn't look like he's caring. I mean, he just
the whole team
energy. Yeah, well, I mean, obviously the defense of it's just so bad. And I did want to address something you did say before as well. Like, yeah, Richard Jefferson did say on the Yes broadcast, and he was excellent. And he beyond that, like just saying the team's been garbage, which I know a lot of people sometimes on your own network won't do. He did it. But yeah, he called out Kyrie. He said what was wrong, and he wasn't shy about it. And I applaud Richard Jefferson for doing that, which I know on the Yes Network probably wasn't easy, and probably connections from playing with Kyrie Irving in Cleveland. But he
works for ESPN too. That's probably his breadwinner, the ESPN job, So,
but RJ, I thought what RJ said, and if you haven't seen it, just I'm sure you can find it on any social media platform.
Right. My ESPN comment is that ESPN broadcasts the NBA finals on ABC. It's all connected. So he works for them. So for him to call out Kyrie is making a bigger ripple effect than just affecting the Nets organization.
Sure.
I'm just saying it means something,
of course,
coming from him. And he doesn't make any mistakes. Maybe I can't say he doesn't make any mistakes, but he's the kind of person who thinks before he speaks at this point in his media career.
That wasn't of course that wasn't
off the top of his head.
If there's something like that on the Yes Network, they're saying, hey, at this time in the game, let's do it between I don't know what it was, the game, but remembering now, but it's like it's the second quarter, we'll do it between the 10 and 8 minute mark, when Kyrie goes to the bench for the first time and he's not on the court or something like that. There wasn't. So I think he was on the bench at that point. So
they're not going to do it with 2 minutes left in the game.
No, they're right. Well, that would there is a calculated time within some sort of broadcast rundown. Like, hey, this is when we will broach this topic, and that was definitely discussed with producers, directors, RJ, Ryan Rucco. That's something that's definitely not just
Right. That came from the
a
top.
spur of
Yeah.
the moment. Like, hey, this is how I'm feeling about this. I want to address it. No, this was, this is discussed, especially on a broadcast where it's Kyrie Irving's home games. It's the net home
Mhm.
games, which, side note, the court looked great. The jerseys looked great. The court was kind of bizarre.
It's just it's funny because I keep going back to this too. The Nets look like geniuses not extending Kyrie Irving. Can you imagine if they gave him the max extension for 4 years and then this happens? Like, holy shit. At least right now they're like, all right, even if he's stuck on this team, we just have to deal with this for another 5 months and then never have to talk to him ever again. So I just feel like
I don't think there's any. I don't think there's any way possible. He's like I said, I think he doesn't last
gone.
a year.
Yeah.
I think
I don't know.
I think it's
it's
over.
Yeah.
It's over, which is why
may not last the next month. At this rate.
I think at this point they're dogging it to get Nash fired. I think they don't want him there, and this is a tactic to do it.
Which is so ridiculous.
Because I know there'll be a lot of and I got so much pushback for this on Net Spaces, like so much, where I said Steve Nash is not a good coach and he's not helping this team at all. But to put all the blame on him, like that they're not winning games because of him and rotations and all this stuff is not true. They're not winning because they have no energy and they don't care. Now, if you want to say that stems from Nash not being a good coach and not being the right guy and they don't respect him, totally agree with that. And it's for that reason he can't be here anymore. He's got to be fired yesterday. Yeah, he's not the greatest schematic coach, but it's beyond that. Nobody likes him. They don't respect him. And if nobody's going to try, they have no chance.
Well, that's what's funny is that you say nobody's going to try, but Kyrie scored 35 and Durant scored 26 yesterday. It's so funny.
Defensively, Alex, if you watch these games.
Yeah, I didn't watch it.
It's just like shooting practice for the other team. And then they get confidence. Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah,
it's really bad.
No, I saw the highlights. I saw a couple, open threes, and even the analysts were like, "Is anybody going to guard him?" They're doing those little comments throughout the game. But whatever. It sucks. We can do this all night. But
I'm happy to talk about Donovan Mitchell and the Cleveland Cavaliers. So the Cavs beat the Knicks.
Change the mood.
Knicks dropped to 3-3 on the year. The Cavs are 5-1. Donovan Mitchell had another great game. He's had back-to-back tremendous games. Cavs beat the Celtics. Cavs beat the Knicks, and the Knicks with a 3-3 that just feels right. They go into Memphis. They can't beat the Grizzlies. The Knicks
could have won that game.
The Knicks' 3 home games have been on the lighter side. Their road games have been more on the difficult side. And this is what you get: a 3-3 team and a little humble pie on both directions, where it's like you're feeling good. You escape defeating the Hornets at home in overtime, and then you get a dose of reality going into play 2 of the best teams in the East with the Milwaukee Bucks, of course, who have one of the best players in the history of the league, and then going into Cleveland and losing tonight to D Wade.
Right. Not that D Wade, but D Wade.
My microphone falls.
Yeah. See, you made that joke and your microphone fell apart. But and these 2 teams in the Knicks defense, the Cavs and the Bucks, could easily be in the Eastern Conference Finals and be that matchup in the Eastern Conference Finals. So it's very, very hard to get mad at the Knicks, but like the effort tonight was terrible in the fourth quarter. They in the Bucks game the other day, it was like they just got steamrolled in the third quarter, like classic last year Knicks. But like the Bucks Giannis is just the best player in the world. But with the Cavs, they were in this game, they were up by 9, 8, 7, whatever it was in the fourth quarter. And in the fourth quarter, they were up by 9. They had a few 10-0 runs in this game. They were right there, and they should have won this game. And then they were tied at 99 when the Cavs came back, and then they just like gave up. It's just like, it's Donovan Mitchell just overwhelmed them. Kevin Love overwhelmed them. Dean Wade just went off. It's just, there's so many things. There was a few 4-point plays. It's just crazy, man. Kevin Love had 29 points off the bench. Kevin Love, this is not 2013.
8 of 13 from 3.
And he had a 4-point play. It's insane. Like, how do you let this happen to you? And it's just, what was really annoying also, sidebar, I did a DraftKings money line bet with 100%, like a win free bonus. What do you call it? And it's like if the Knicks go up by 10 at any point in the game, you win your bet. So the Knicks were up 9 and to start the fourth quarter, and they didn't score a point for 2 minutes, and they kept stopping the Cavs. They had so many over. There's like fuck, just make one basket. And there was like a layup they missed. It was just like, are you kidding? Like it was just come on, man, you know. And so anyway, so that added to my anxiety in the game, and then they ended up losing, whatever. But that was annoying enough. Wasn't a big bet, $30, big deal, you know. So it's just one of those things where it's just how do you like yes, the Cavs are better than you, but you're never going to be a playoff team if you're not going to win these close games against the better teams, because you're better than the bad teams. We talk about this all the time. You're better than the bad teams. You're not as good as the good teams to great teams, obviously. So you need to steal games like tonight from the Cavs if you want to get a 6 seed or above. And the Knicks had a shot tonight and they dropped the ball, and Donovan Mitchell crushed them, and he was on fire to begin the game. People said he can't shoot. People said he can't play defense. He was doing all of those things tonight. And I love the other thing, how now Knicks fans are like, nobody said he couldn't shoot. Mike, do you remember people saying all summer how he couldn't shoot?
There was a lot of things. I mean, it was too.
Yeah. And people are just saying, like, people are making up shit. Like, oh, I never said that. Like, oh, okay, man. Like, I'm
thankful he's not on the Knicks. I'll tell you that much. Oh boy, this would be.
Can you imagine? Knicks are 6-0 with Donovan Mitchell and
they're 1-5
Nets doing this, and that's it. Yeah.
Oh my goodness gracious. Oh, that'd be the fucking miserable. But it's you know, RJ Barrett's. What do you make of his start?
He's been up and down, man. I mean, he was hitting his threes tonight, so I was happy about that. 3 or 4 from downtown. He was good. It's just that they're the stale ass starting lineup. You start the game falling asleep. And then like you come back, like, and then in the fourth quarter, you have like you have this all bench lineup with like Rose and Reddish took a couple wild shots. Even Mike Breen called him out, was like, that's just a bad shot. And that's Mike Breen saying, what the fuck was that? You know? And that's the most nicest way that he could possibly say it.
Right.
And you know, Randall is just out of control sometimes. Fournier made a couple dumb plays. You know, it's just these guys need to be gone. And if we're not going to be good, why are we playing these? It's just, you keep going backwards, and then it's in your face when you see Donovan Mitchell.
That was tough timing.
Such a freaking twist of the knife tonight. And then the further twist with the bet, like, you know, there was just all those like things tonight was just like such a like, oh, fuck, you know, and it was just whatever.
The Knicks November is hard.
Yeah.
Their November is not easy.
You have it in front of you?
Yeah. Home Hawks Wednesday, which will be fun. At Sixers
Celtics,
Friday. Oh. Home Celtics, at T-Wolves, at Nets. That's a win. That could be the first. That could be the first Knick win over a net in our history. Pistons home, Thunder home, at Jazz, at Nuggets, at Warriors, at Suns, at Thunder, Blazers, Grizzlies home, at Pistons, Bucks. That's a hard schedule.
That is. I don't see many easy wins, and that's why you got to win these games that you can win. It's absolutely insane. You know, they just kind of gave up. They got punched in the mouth in the fourth quarter, and once it was tied at 99, it was kind of, you felt like, all right, maybe the Knicks can bounce back. But in the back of my mind, I was like, oh, this game's over. You know, and it's just you had a chance to step on their necks, and Thibs with these rotations is so weird. You stick with this team that can't score. Like it's almost like he punishes fans. It's like, you wanted the kids, here are the kids. Look, they can't score. Just like, no, we wanted like everybody together and play together and just get rid of these 2 guys and Randall and Fournier, and then see what we can have, mixing Rose and mixing, you know what I'm saying? It's just, it doesn't make any sense how you stuck with that lineup for so long that wasn't working, you know, adjust on the fly. He'd rather go down and be right than win and be wrong. And that is the problem with Coach Tom Thibodeau.
Sounds like a net game. No effort, not trying, can't play defense, getting destroyed. I mean, it definitely does.
Did you see that play with Donovan Mitchell today?
Yeah, I saw the play with the spin move and the dunk when they were down 7 or 8, and then
on Hartenstein. Kind
of started the momentum trend that helped that game, because then it was, you know, all of a sudden 99-99, 101, then it was, you know, 101-100, or then 103-101, and then it was over, and then it was 112-103, and you know, the rest is history there. But the up and down emotion of feeling it's true. Like, I'll just be real. I did, if I think fans always try to tell themselves you can't get too high on wins, you can't get too low on wins. That is an impossible task. That is
Especially
an
early in the
impossible
season.
task. Yeah.
Early in the season,
I
that's
mean,
really hard.
like I could see the Nets losing to the Pacers again Monday. I mean, they right, the Nets have to beat the Pacers Monday. There's no way they lose to them again.
Yeah.
No way. Right?
Yeah, Halliburton, like I was mocking Halliburton ranked so high in fantasy basketball, man. Dude is crushing it.
Have you seen, she is like the worst looking shot. He does not hit, he does not miss threes. He was
Yeah.
smoking hot. They did this without Miles Turner was out. It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Nets are an embarrassment.
Yeah.
I tweeted that after the game that the Nets are an embarrassment on a lot of fronts from everything that's happened with Kyrie off the court. That's the way they play as a team on the court with no emotion, no connectivity, no caring, just brutal. Credit to Ben Simmons in the post game that said he thinks this team can fucking win the title.
Yeah, if you're playing
I
2K, sure,
like-
video games. Yeah.
Oh man, it's just Ben played a little better. I
He's
went down
flirted with a triple double, right?
Yeah,
Flirted with
but
a triple double.
it's,
But like a low triple double.
if you watch, he's so scared to go to the basket. I went down the rabbit hole of watching him on Sixer highlights.
Yeah.
Holy shit. He was a freak.
The young Simmons, yeah.
It's the young Simmons. He's 25.
I know.
I worry about Ben Simmons. I think mentally, I think he's all right. I think he physically isn't the same.
He's done. Yeah, I think he's done.
I don't know.
Done. He's Markelle Fultz. He's done. I mean, Markelle Fultz had a nice little spurt. Yeah. Sorry.
I don't know if he can physically last the same like that he used to. And RJ in the broadcast said, give him time. He'll get better as the year goes on and in better shape and play basketball. I hope he's right. I hope he's right because
he could be right. I mean, we don't know. Yeah.
He's wrong. If he's wrong and this is the effort you're going to get from the rest of the team, they have no chance. I mean, like
they should just blow it up. And honestly, with the things that are going on with Kyrie and the anti-Semitism, they're probably better off just getting rid of him. And like we were saying before, getting rid of him, getting rid of Durant, and you're probably stuck with Simmons as no one's going to take him. And then just
Simmons is there
getting as much as you can. What?
No, Simmons is not going. No one's trading.
That's what I'm saying. No. Keeps it. Yeah, just like you're stuck with Simmons because no one's going to want him. Somebody will take Durant. You're just going to have to get pennies on the dollar and just move on. Just move on.
I can't believe I in the offseason was like anti-Simmons for Donovan Mitchell. That was a dumb.
Well, how would you know?
It was still stupid.
Yeah.
I can admit when I had a bad opinion.
You didn't know if you were going to get the Ben Simmons of the rabbit hole highlights you were watching.
Those are great. I mean, like if you watch him versus the Nets,
so aggressive.
Awesome.
I saw some dunks like of him. Somebody posted on Twitter. Like he's driving to the lane with authority, and and then you have games recently where you have like Kyrie dishes it to him in the lane, and you're literally yelling at him, "Shoot, Ben, shoot!"
Right?
Just like come on, man. And even some of that, there was like some play I was watching the other day. I had caught up like some of the Nets game, and he dished it to Durant. I think he got it at the buzzer or something like that in the paint, and like Simmons probably should have went up with it. You know what I mean? And he still he dished it to Durant and he scored. So it looked good. But at the same time, it's like, you think a younger, quote unquote, younger Simmons probably just goes up and dunks that. Probably. You know what I mean? It's
weird. That's why he's getting the assists. He's averaging like 7, 7, and 7. So
he had 9, 8, and 9 the other day. That was close.
But it's just a weird way of getting these assists. He definitely should be more aggressive. But he has made some, nice passes, no doubt. He's definitely done that. And the Nets have now gone with he's the backup center. That's the way they've changed stuff. Day'Ron Sharpe is out of the rotation. Simmons is now the back
flaw to this roster, man.
Well, they don't have any bigs. No, but it's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do.
It is.
Definitely.
But wouldn't you have rather had? I know I texted you this other day. I didn't mean to troll you, but you said that's such a troll text.
Well, let's let people decide. You know what? I'll leave it up to the audience, and we'll let people decide. Go ahead.
Okay.
Say the text, and then
I gotta find.
Don't say it's exactly a troll. But type in the search bar, Drummond. You'll find it. Ever search your own text?
Yeah, I
How
know,
do you
but I
think I
have it.
find every password
I'm
I
gonna
have?
scroll. I'm gonna scroll already, so I'm like kind of already almost there. I think. Oh damn, we text a lot, man. Why do we text so
No,
much?
we don't text that much stuff.
Okay,
We cover.
so we were talking about Kyrie and getting upset about the things that were going on, and then maybe like 2 hours went by, and I go, an actual basketball talk. Andre Drummond has been a monster this year. You said that's such a troll text. I said just informed. I was looking at fantasy because Ayton is out a week, and I saw that he's been really good the last few games, but he's hurt now.
Yeah, but it's
And he
just
said,
out of the blue. Like, who texts people that?
in actual basketball talk, Andre Drummond has been a
Why
monster
would
this
I mean?
year.
I don't like. What do we? I mean, that's a troll.
I wasn't
Not
trying
not
to
a
troll. I
not
was
not
literally
part of
just
you
trying
was
to.
like, oh, he was on the Nets last year, and the Nets need size. Let me say this will be funny. They're saying you're telling me to touch 1 ounce of your being. Didn't think that.
No, I swear. I was just kind of like, yeah,
I
you
don't
would
buy it.
probably, I figured you'd be like, oh, fuck, that sucks. I didn't think, I wasn't trying to like troll you. Like, yeah, I know. If we had Drummond, I know he's hurt like he always is. So, like, that's one thing. He's got a hurt left shoulder. But his game log so far, points and rebounds, 9-5, 10-10, 8-7, 2-12, 8-13, 17-14. And then he's hurt. So, like, that's the Nets could use that. Like instead of having their point guard who can't shoot playing backup center, I think it would be more beneficial to have Ben Simmons. But
I
what do you
troll
want?
DM. I troll DM Dolan J Trump now.
Oh yeah.
Because he's been doing it to me for a couple of years, and I decided to fight back.
Oh yeah.
He'll say stuff after a bad loss, like how did you lose to the Pacers? The Pacers, like what's going on? Like I just don't know. So I started doing it back now. I just couldn't take it. Now I'll just be like, what happened in the fourth quarter? 37-15. How'd you get outscored so much?
No,
like
that was crazy. No, that's
come
good
on,
that you
man.
do that. That's funny.
Now I got to do it back. And I don't in the past I'd be like, oh, I'm not doing that because it's bad karma. That it doesn't matter.
Fuck karma.
Fuck karma.
Yeah.
I'm doing everything. I'm doing Costanza stuff now. Doing everything opposite.
This Knicks game, looking at the quarter by quarter, Knicks Cavs. Cavs won the first quarter 35-30. Knicks won the second quarter 29-27. Knicks won the third quarter 34-22. And then the Cavs won the fourth quarter 37-15. That's insane. The Knicks were the first two quarters are normal, and then third quarter Knicks step on it. And so they should be able to. I know it's the NBA and everybody can come back. But usually, if you're up by 10 going into the fourth quarter, you should have not a 10, 9. Obviously, it wasn't 10 because I didn't win my bet. But you were up by 9 for the first minutes of the fourth quarter, and you had multiple shots to make it more than 9, and you probably should have been up 12-15. You should win the fucking game. It's just it doesn't matter how much more talented you gave the Cavs life, and they fucking took it. You gave them an inch and they took a mile, and that's what good teams do. The Cavs legitimately can win a championship this year, and they legitimately can make a deep playoff run. So if you want to win and you want to be in the playoffs and in the top 6, you have to steal wins like this on the road. If you don't, you're going to win 38-40 games, and it's going to be another wasted fucking season. Like I keep saying, but nobody wants to hear me, Mike.
And you're right about the Cavs that can win a championship, and just kind of taking your point and just kind of making it net related here. So I just want to say this because I've been thinking about this all episode. I haven't said it yet, and I've been so annoyed by the narrative from early on with the Nets about how they haven't played together yet, and
the gel,
and more than anything else, like the schedule's been tough. Like this is the team that's going to be a title contender. You're going to have to win basketball games, and I know we've been fanboying here a little bit, but like RJ on the broadcast too, that they were talking like, oh, it's been a hard schedule, it's softening up a little bit. And RJ's like, no, if you're a title team, you win games. You go out
Richard
and win
Jefferson,
games.
by the way, not RJ Barrett. Richard Jefferson.
It's in my head. There's one RJ.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
In Knicks heads, there's one RJ. Yeah, exactly.
And I just, it's like at some point, it's like stop making excuses. There's no fan base that is better at making excuses than the Net fans. We have come up with every excuse over the last couple of years. Oh, if this happened. Oh, if that happened. Oh, with this. It's like, yeah, some of it's legitimate. Yeah, some of it's reality. Yeah. But at some point, it's just like, we just suck. We just have no vibe. We all hate each other. There's no chemistry. The team is a dysfunctional mess. The coaching staff's not respected. Nobody gives two shits about one another. There's no continuity. There's no defensive help. Everybody's out there for themselves. Every post game, it's the same conversation. And at some point, as Net fans, we have to look in the mirror and just say, our team just isn't good enough. They're just not good enough to win. And enough about the, oh, well, the roster construction, the guys not around them here. Kyrie and Kevin Durant don't have enough help. At
Steve
some point,
Nash's
it's like,
fault. Yeah.
it's like it's at some point we have to just look ourselves in the mirror and say, we're just not good enough, right? The Bucks beat the Nets. They did not have Chris Middleton playing. They still beat the Nets. The Grizzlies didn't have Jaren Jackson. They still beat the Nets, right? The Pacers are awful. They're just awful. They went in and smoked the Nets. At some point, it's like, it's just not enough to say Kyrie and Kevin Durant don't get enough help. At some point, it's just, they're just not good enough. And that's the reality of it. And that's where we are, right? The Nets aren't a good enough team, point blank, for whatever reason. All of those reasons, chemistry, coaching, they're just not good enough. And it's on full display here in the 2022 NBA season.
Nice way to put a bow on that. Yeah, that's why I said in the offseason, the Nets are not going to win a championship because you need everybody on the same page to win a championship. Talent doesn't just win championships. You have to have everybody together. And that's why, Shaq and Kobe couldn't win championships until they got Phil Jackson in there because they weren't on the same page, and that's just what it is. And Nets fans and any fans are always going to make excuses. I'm sure Lakers fans made excuses back then before they got Phil Jackson of why they weren't winning, blaming this guy, blaming that guy, blaming whoever. Just bad teams that don't win make excuses, and fan bases make excuses like the New York Jets. Jets fans have been making excuses for Rob Saleh for 2 years, and they've been making excuses for Zach Wilson for 2 years. So they've been making excuses for Saleh and for Wilson for 2 years. Jets fans have been doing that, and I have been not allowing myself to get too high on this coach or this quarterback for this exact reason. I did not see it. I did not see anything in Saleh. I did not see anything in his game management. I did not see anything in his ability to hold players accountable. Everybody's friends. He gives these little slogans, 60%, this percent, we love everyone, ELE kind of a thing, like the movie Tropic. Was it, I forgot the name of the movie with Will Ferrell with the ABA. And just Zach Wilson looks like he's terrible. This is the second pick in the draft in his second season. You got to show me something. I don't care about injuries. You've been in the building for a year and a half now. How are you still this bad? And it's not even the stupid throws where you're out of the pocket and you should have thrown it away and you did it and you threw a pick. That's young and that's stupid and that I can live with. It's the throws that are easy that you're missing. It's every time you're under pressure, you scramble out of the pocket like you're Michael Vick and Madden in 2002. What are you doing? Dude, just take a sack. You don't have to make every play a hit, like a whatever, and that's coaching. And then you have John Franklin Myers with the roughing the passer, non-disciplined football. You could argue the call you want. I think it was roughing the passer and the right call. But you know what? A pick six is off the board because the player wasn't disciplined enough to stop. And that's on the coach. And I'm just tired of this shit. And they're probably going to win 7 games this year after starting off 5-2. And that's what it is. And if you think they're beating Buffalo next week at home, that's going to be all Bills fans in the building. Now, Jets fans are going to be selling their tickets. Like Lee Valentin, let me blow him up. He texted me. He's going to the game next week and he might sell his tickets now. And I don't blame him. I was thinking about going to that game day before my birthday. But you know what?
Well,
I'm not going now. Fuck that.
Oh my God. Really? After one loss, you're going to give up? It's
one loss? Yeah.
Semi-pro, by the way.
Semi-pro. Thank you. That's the movie. Yes. Thank you.
No problem. But yeah, I mean, if there was
the Tropics and they got a Hawaiian Tropic, the movie.
Never seen
the
it.
Tropics. Yeah.
Never seen
Anyway.
Semi-pro.
Really?
I'm not.
Oh, you got to see that.
I
movie.
don't love
Classic.
Will Ferrell. He doesn't do it for me.
That's crazy. That's crazy to me. Will Ferrell movies are
Go
classic.
to the game. If you got the tickets, go to the game. Don't
No, I don't have the
abandon,
tickets.
like,
I haven't bought tickets.
Don't
yet.
abandon after one loss. Bills aren't even. That
I was not that excited to go. I was getting excited, and if they won this week, I would have went. But I wasn't. I was like 50-50 kind of a thing. You know what I'm saying? And now I'd rather just watch it on my couch and order
that's a
some
whole
food.
different. Well, that's a whole different conversation. If you don't like going to games in general, especially football games, because
it's such a
day trip.
such an adventure. Yeah, exactly.
Bills
But-
beating or I'm just being sarcastic about the Bills not being that good. So don't fuck around with me. Bills 27-10 over the Packers right now. 9:34 to go in the fourth quarter as we
Jeez,
as we're
Packers
recording
suck,
this.
huh? Packers suck. Another big Jets win, quote unquote, big Jets win off of one Brees Hall touchdown, and then they rode that wave the whole way. And everybody's calling me a hater because I'm saying like I'm not impressed by any of these wins.
Football's odd though, because teams can be decent at one point and then get bad and just start to steamroll down and fall apart. And when the quarterback's going to be who the quarterback is, that plays a part of just the respect level for beating a team that's that solid, especially in Lambeau when it's never really done.
And you also had the perfect tandem with I don't want to go inside Packers here, but you had the perfect tandem with Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. You get rid of Devontae Adams for no reason. And he's been terrible in Oakland. He had a terrible day today. And they're both like, well, maybe we should have just, kept them around.
Well, yeah. You know what? I would love to talk Packer football. I think a big problem for Green Bay is they have so much money tied up into Aaron Rodgers, and he soaks up so much of the salary that what are you going to do? Then give your second best player, and offensively, the one that, the yin and the yang for Aaron on the offensive end, that kind of contract, all of a sudden you've tied up so much money into your quarterback and your wide receiver that there's nothing else that you can do. So it's kind of it's like what the Chiefs did, but they're just so different in a lot of ways dynamically. But the Chiefs didn't want to do the same thing with Tyreek Hill, so they made the deal, sent him to the Dolphins, took all that draft capital back, but then had a belief in their system with Pat Mahomes that this could still work, and it has. But the Chiefs, still trying to find more options with Kadarius Toney and seeing if they have something there with him. So it's just when you have so much money tied up into the quarterback, that becomes a problem, which is why I will give a lot of credit to, and there's so much money in all other directions. And if he's still not playing as well as he was, but Tom Brady didn't do that as much. I'm not saying
over the years
charity
with the
case.
Patriots.
I mean, so much fucking money. But like understanding when you soak up so much of the cap, it makes it really difficult from a football front to get more offensive weapons, especially as guys get older and they're done with their rookie deals. It's incredibly difficult to find that sweet spot to win a championship.
Right. And guys like Drew Brees always took the top dollar because he's like the head of the players union, trying to help the contracts go up cumulatively,
Sure,
for all of the league. Because once somebody's the highest paid player, the next guy wants to be the highest paid player, and then all the salaries go up in scale. It's just easy economics here. So that's why players like Drew Brees are probably annoyed with Tom Brady. Not only is winning all these Super Bowls, but because he's taking a discount, he's hurting the level of salary for all of the players around the NFL and their union. So it's hurting them as well. But then you look at it, Tom Brady has all these Super Bowls and Drew Brees has one.
Well,
why?
Play also impacts that as well.
Right. Couple bad calls, et cetera, et cetera. The Saints got screwed with the bounty gate, et cetera, et cetera. I understand. But at the same time,
it's Tom Brady.
Tom Brady. And the Saints did definitely get screwed a few times. So, but the general point is that, Brees didn't take any cuts ever. And Rodgers didn't, and now we're here.
I'm not saying I would necessarily. I would probably do the same. Of course, you just set,
especially you already have your Super Bowl.
But it's just, it's from a organization standpoint, when you're putting this together, extremely difficult to get all those pieces at the right time and afford everybody. So Packers are strange too. You had Jordan Love sitting there on the bench, who was a first round pick a couple of years ago. He's just sitting there. Like, what's going on with him? He played a little when Aaron was hurt.
First round pick
last year. Yeah. I mean, but that's Aaron Rodgers, not likable.
Can I ask you a question? Don't cheat. What is the series in the World Series right now? What's the games right now?
It's 1-1.
Okay, so okay.
Yeah, I know, but
because this is the most unwatched World Series in New York history, I think, between Phillies and Astros.
I mean, I
haven't watched one pitch.
So I guess game 3. I've not watched one pitch else. I can't do it. It's torture.
Yeah,
it's torture. I mean, as a Met fan, it's torture. Considering the Phillies won 87 games, the Mets own them during the year. I mean, they had that 7-run game where they came back in the 9th inning, and then the Phillies lost in the bottom of the 9th. I mean, the Mets just. absolutely destroyed it. And then you have the other parts of it that make it even more unwatchable is, Noah Syndergaard there, Zach Wheeler there. And I know the Zach Wheeler part was a little different than the Noah part. Zach Wheeler was more of the Mets ownership, with Jeff Wilpon
previous owner
not wanting to give him a deal, which I think if things were differently and you went back and you had this ownership, they're probably giving Zach Wheeler that deal. So
of course,
no ill will to Zach, I guess. The Syndergaard thing is definitely some animosity between the two sides. But yeah, you play that in the Phillies, who had a terrible regular season for, World Series standards are there. It's frustrating to lose them. From the Yankee side, another Astros demolishing of the Yanks. So you put that together, it makes for a rough one. And it does tell you everything you need to know about baseball. And just it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how good you are in the regular season. Just get in. It's all that matters. Just get into the playoffs.
It's true. It's true. I thought you were going from a popularity standpoint in this country today. Baseball is completely regional. Oh, yeah. People aren't watching random World Series. Like, people are, but the majority of the people aren't paying attention to what's going on in the World Series once your team is out of it. Once the playoffs are done and the Mets were done, I can't tell you I watched more than an inning of the rest of the playoffs, besides Yankees, because I was getting into that to seeing what happens to the Yankees. So I'd watch a lot of the Yankees, but that's just because of friends and doing the podcast and like just on Twitter. Like I just want to know what's going on with the Yankees. I'm listening to sports radio all the time. I listen to, Carton and Roberts every day, and I want to hear I want to know what they're talking about, and I get into it by listening to them. So I'm kind of like, all right, let me hear what's happening. But baseball is basically dead. If I missed the game, I wasn't crying about it, so it's just, it's funny because this is why baseball is dying, is because it's so regional. But like for the NBA or the NFL, for the Super Bowl could be between the Jaguars and name another terrible team on bad fan base in the NFC. I mean, I just can't think of.
The Manders have won 3 in a row, so I can't even say them.
The Panthers, Panthers and the Jaguars in the Super Bowl. And the 2 expansion teams in the same year they came in, and we'll still watch it. Everybody will have the highest rated show in the year in America. NBA Finals could be a bad matchup as well. The ratings might go down, but people will be paying attention to it. You know what I'm saying? It's just baseball has reached almost like a hockey level of like, who cares when your teams are out of it? But that's just another conversation.
It was hard to watch NBA playoffs after the Nets lost to the Bucks. I couldn't do it.
Right. But you know what was going on. You know what I mean? Like,
I knew it was going on.
I quizzed you because I didn't think you were paying attention. But if you can quiz the random New Yorker that's a big baseball fan, that loves the Mets, loves the Yankees, whichever team, they watch every game, they know every stat, they saw everything that's going on. I guarantee you, at 75% of these people have no idea what's going on in the World Series, no idea who's starting in Game 3, no idea what's happening.
Email us, badweatherfans@gmail.com. Do you know the series?
Yeah, that's actually our email, badweatherfans@gmail.com. If you have any questions or topics you want, email us. That'd be pretty funny. That's a good little.
Well, we could. I mean, we've done it, but this is not the time to do it. We did it over the summer, but everybody loves a good mailbag episode. That's always fun. Anyway. Giants losers today. They fall to Geno Smith, and it was great.
That hurt too, man. Seeing Geno play so well hurts.
Yeah, well,
sorry, go ahead.
I don't.
It's about the Giants right now. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he was a Giant.
He was. That's true.
That's true. And unfortunate for him, the situation that occurred with him playing the one game when Eli was benched.
Broke his streak.
So I know
broke the streak.
This was the Geno Smith revenge game. Seattle's good. Yeah, Pete Carroll's one of those guys. So annoying.
Another Jet connection there.
Yeah.
Former Jets coach Pete Carroll.
The Jets do have a lot of connections in a lot of places.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you're bad for so long. You can get talent, and then all of a sudden they're
Belichick connection.
And there's also a connection to the Jets on a show on Netflix. There's this real estate show where there's these 4 real estate brokers real estate moguls. They're billionaires or millionaires, and they have people come in, try to sell you their house. And Brandon Copeland, former Jets linebacker, is one of the people. He's a big investor on the show. Okay. I forgot the name of the show. I'll look it up right now. But it's a good show. Actually, my wife was watching it, and I got into it with her. Whatever.
Did the Nets make the playoffs?
No.
You don't think?
Honestly, that's a tough question. That's a tough question.
You don't think they're one
It's
of the
called
10?
Buy My House, by the way, the name of the show on Netflix. Really good show if you guys want to watch it. I don't know, man. I think they're at least going to make the play-in game
That's what
just
I'm
by
saying.
accident. Just
The
by
play-in.
accident.
That's
They'll
the
make
10.
Yeah. So 7 to 10 is a plan. So yeah, I think they'll make the play-in. But
How about we do?
because it depends on how long this goes. This goes right here. Even if Kyrie stays, because they're going to try to get Nash fired, but the Nets aren't going to just fire Nash after what they went through this offseason and standing on it. So that was always my favorite thing. It's going to get to Christmas at least before they think about firing Nash. And how bad are they by then? Is it a hole that they can get out of, even if they all turn it on and put it together?
Yeah. We asked that question, who gets canned first, Nash or Thibodeau, but I think it's clearly
It's definitely
there is no doubt in my mind that the net players spearheaded by Kevin Durant, I think, are like it's not James Harden level stuff, but there's definitely like not that like extra juice of caring.
They definitely are. This definitely is James Harden level, because they literally said fire him.
No, but I'm just saying from watching
Yeah.
these games on the court, like
got it.
Harden was at one point was like not rotating, not moving, like it was really bad. It just, the Nets, there's just no caring of next kind of level of giving a shit. But
Thibs isn't getting fired. Thibs is showing, the Knicks showed a pulse. They're 3-3. They're okay. They're the only way Thibs gets fired mid-season is if they go on like a 15-game losing streak or something crazy. And it's just like, get out of here.
You think the Knicks? Do you think the Knicks end the streak of bad weather fans Knick games and get the W? It's a week from Wednesday, November 9th.
Honestly, I can't answer that question yet, because I have no idea what the Nets are going to be in a week. I really don't know. I can't answer that question. As of right now, I think the Knicks can. Yes, I think the Knicks do win. I think they can win. But as of right now, I don't know what the Nets will be in 48 hours. By the time this posts, I don't know what the Nets will be. Something else could be happening right now. We don't even know. But Kyrie has deleted the post.
Someone would have texted me.
Kyrie has deleted the post of the anti-Semitic documentary and book that he posted. But still out there that it doesn't, it's too late. If he posted it and then deleted it and be like, oh shit, I didn't realize, I'm so sorry, whatever. Even if we didn't believe him, it wouldn't be this big of a deal. But the doubling down and everything and now you delete it, fuck off. I
would like to hear. I mean, I personally can only speak for myself. That's what personally means.
Is it?
I would love to hear something like that. I would, as a Net fan watching these games, for Kyrie to go, I fucked up, and say,
at least you can mentally gymnastics
and just say like, hey, you know what, or honest or not, just say like, hey, I didn't do my due diligence in understanding what I posted. That's a mistake I made. I'm
going
sorry
to counseling. I'm working on
sorry
myself.
sorry for saying those points. And we'll end with this because we didn't talk about it. I will spend 2 minutes on it. You touched upon it before, but I did like Nick Friedel. I don't want to be a hypocrite, right? Not Mike the hypocrite, because I had said previously, I always think it's important for media to have access to ask players questions, and I got on the Knicks for not allowing it. I do think Nick Friedel can be a troll to the Net fan. He definitely can. He definitely can do that. To say he doesn't would be incorrect, because he has had moments where he goes after the fans. He has fun with them in a trolling manner. But I respected him asking the tough question to Kyrie Irving and doing that. And the one thing that I was interested in, even beyond this, which was never really addressed, was the Alex Jones comments, right? Where Kyrie said, hey, I understand what happened with Sandy Hook. I'm paraphrasing here, but that was not my intention. I don't agree with that. Basically, something about conspiracies. That's what I was sharing. It's twofold. One, I think we're seeing that Kyrie does believe in conspiracies. He kind of just admitted it there. And two, I myself would never want to reshare somebody's information, even if it wasn't the nasty topic that was about. Like, I wouldn't want to do that. Like, yeah, Alex Jones had this one part, which I do agree with, but there's so much other things that he's done that are so putrid and heinous I think that's a true lack of judgment from Kyrie Irving to think that he could compartmentalize the two parts of Alex Jones being one that's just kind of bizarre and then one that's just the worst things that anybody could say. Like, you can't have it both ways with that. I don't like that. That's weird. Like, you wouldn't be like, well, I'm going to share a post of Hitler, but it's talking about how he thinks, bananas are a good source of is something nice to eat. Yeah, well, the other things that this person has said are so horrific that you really don't want to be associated with this guy on any level, I would think.
Yeah, and that's I understand, and it's one of those things where, yeah, just because a bad person did something good once doesn't make them a good person. There might be I'm trying to be careful with my words. I don't want to compare them to somebody that's like actually like committing crimes.
Right.
But, just let's say there's somebody who's just like a really, really terrible employee, a terrible colleague, terrible coworker of yours, always fucking up, always just blames other people, is always costing you more time because you have to fix his messes or her messes. And it's just, there's such a pain in the ass. But one time they said, hey, you want to go get a cup of coffee? I'll buy you coffee. That doesn't mean that they are now a good employee because they bought you coffee once and they had a nice gesture. It's just one of those situations.
There is a real lack of understanding of the First Amendment.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, the amount of times you'll see people say, that's his right. It's his freedom of speech. Of course it is.
He's not in jail. That's why it's free.
There's still repercussions for things. Nothing is as simple as you can say whatever you want. Yes, you can. But that means that the other person on the other side can say what they want back and make a decision back. This is we're very fortunate to be in a society where we do have freedom of speech. But with that, there could be responsibilities and changes that occur because there's a disagreement, which is, again, part of the great part of this.
Right. I'll put it this way. You can walk up to a stranger on the street or anybody in your life and curse them out. Be like, you piece of shit, fuck you. Da, 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 da. And then you're not going to go to jail for doing that, but it's within that person's right to blast you in the face. and that's the consequences for your comments. So you're not going to go to jail for cursing this person out, but that person punching you in the face might have a justifiable reason to punch you in the face and not even get charges pressed.
Well, they could then go to jail.
Well, if the person's antagonizing you and coming after you and cursing you out in your face and you're just defending yourself, and you thought you were in danger, you probably, we're going crazy here, but you get the point. The point is that the person, whatever, I'm not going to re-explain it. You get me. Anyway, who cares?
I didn't get it. This has been Bad Weather Fans, episode 142. You good?
I'm good. I'm good.
Spiel?
I'm not good. Donovan Mitchell crushed the Knicks, and that upsets me. Jets lost. That upsets me. Patriots own the Jets. My PTSD was right not to get too high. And all of this bullshit. I forgot to bring this up before. It was all this bullshit about let's run up the score in the Patriots. I'm like, how about we fucking win first? Like, can we win?
Too much good. There was too much excitement. Like, it was
touching the money.
It was just too much of like, we're 5-2. The Pats are 3-4. They're coming off a terrible loss versus the Chicago Bears on Monday Night Football. Here are the Jets, who have just looked fabulous. They're on a 4-game winning streak. There was like, we're feeling good, but it was just that should have been the sign. That should have been the sign.
Yeah, well, that's why I said it on this episode last week. I'm excited. I'm excited they won, but am I confident? Fuck no. They beat a bunch of backups and Aaron Rodgers. Right. And the Packers suck. So it's just like, can we chill? And Breece Hall is out for the year, and
but that doesn't mean
out for the year.
That doesn't mean that you shouldn't be like, I'm not going to the Jets Bills game now. Like, come, you can support your fans. Support your teams.
Mike, I don't know if you've heard, I used to have season tickets to the Jets. I've been to so many games in my life. I'm at a point where I don't fucking care. I went to every game from 1991 through 2014.
Well,
missed the one game for my bar mitzvah in 1997 when the Vikings beat the Jets. And I'll still remember that game because I missed that one. And right now it's a pain in the ass to get to Jets games. They suck. They've been bad for a decade of not going to the playoffs. And
I give up.
Too. I give up. I don't give up. I don't give up because I still love them. I still follow them. I still obsessed with them. I still watch every second of every game, no matter what. But you know what? When you're this bad and you make these so many mistakes at the same time. You hire another defensive rookie coach and you're with another rookie quarterback with a coach that doesn't know how to coach the quarterback. It's just, you're doing the same thing over again. I know you had Adam Gase and you hired the wrong offensive coach. That doesn't mean you go back to doing what hasn't been working for the last 20 fucking years. Anyway, let me stop.
You're getting old. You're getting older. That's why you
older.
don't want to go to these games, because your just priorities have changed. You're not a kid.
Right.
Just not the same.
It's not easy. It's just not easy.
Hey, you got responsibility now. It's just not the same. It's just harder.
It's true. It's true.
Of course it's true. Know what I'm talking about. Bad Weather Fans, episode 142. You can find this podcast on YouTube. If you do, go ahead, watch it, subscribe, leave a comment. We love to see those. And of course, if you're listening on Apple, follow the show, Spotify, subscribe, or any of the other platforms where you find Bad Weather Fans. This has been episode 142 with Mike and Alex. We'll see y'all next time for 143. And Alex, have a wonderful week.